Alright, so we've had this Kenmore Elite. I'm guessing from the early 2000s, somewhere in that range, maybe late 90s, probably early 2000s. Top loader. It's been sitting here for about 6 months, and it's time to fix it. Okay, about 6 months ago, I got a call to go out and service a machine. Explain to the customer what I thought was wrong. Customer says, I don't care, I don't want it anymore. I'm going to buy a new GE load sensing machine. Needless to say, I picked this machine up, got rid of it, picked up the new machine, installed it. The new machine was twice as light as this. A load sensing GE. So, long story short, stop throwing out your machines, please, because you're getting some subpar junk made out of stamped sheet metal that's much cheaper with much cheaper parts, that's destined to fail much quicker and cost you a little bit more money to fix if they're even repairable. So the old machines are more repairable than the new. The existing machines are much more rewarding to work on and fix, and they last a lot longer. That's just my experience working with appliances, because this is my day job. Part of the description of my day job. My evening job, my time off, is automotive. Automotive is what I went to school for, and I also went to school in some sense to do things like this, and I've been doing this for 25 years. So I've determined what was wrong with this Kenmore real quickly. All I had to do was remove it. And when I removed it, there was a black stain on the floor of rubber. It looked like belt dust or some type of rubber from the transmission that came from the bottom of the unit. Now, I knew what it was, and I explained what I thought it was, which was a coupler, because the symptoms were the machine would run, drain water, do all that, but the tumbler would stop spinning. Not the agitator. The entire belly of the machine would quit spinning. It wouldn't agitate, it wouldn't spin, it wouldn't do just about anything. All it would do was fill and drain. So that told me right there the motor coupler was bad. Surprise, surprise, on these older machines, anything that is direct drive, whether it's Kenmore, Whirlpool, Maytag,
Magic Chef if you're that old.
Well, any of those machines use a direct drive motor coupler.
Even old GEs.
Right, which is made out of plastic and rubber. And it's a common part that fails. And there might be other videos out there on YouTube, but this one is from me. So that kind of explains. If you want one of those newer load sensing machines that confuse you, that you can't put the water in first, you got to put the weighted clothes in, and you got to be environmentally friendly, and your clothes don't smell as good as they used to, or it doesn't get all the stains out. Well, that's because you're moving to a newer world where everything is planned obsolescence. Okay, it's basically junk. You might as well hand wash your clothes if you're going to resort to that. So our job is to preserve these older machines for realistic use. So first thing we need to do is inspect the motor coupler. How do we do that? Well, we already saw the stain. This machine hasn't been upside down yet, but it's about to be. Okay, we're going to go on inside. We're going to look and check the transmission.
Right there.
Okay, yep, as suspected. Motor coupler. See that plastic? It's broken. See that? That's a rubber motor coupler. It's bad. This is the transmission. This is the electric motor. Okay? So how do we replace this? Well, we can pull the transmission out. We can get to it this way. We can try to go through the side here. We can try to pull all of this stuff off sideways underneath the machine. But we have this side cover that gets in our way. This side cover might pose a threat to be able to change this easy. We might be able to do it under the machine this way. And then of course we might not. So what's the best way? Somehow we have to separate the motor and the transmission. The motor, transmission this way. So either we're taking this transmission off, we have to replace this cheap plastic motor coupler that costs between $5 and $25. That's it. For this set, for the reason the machine is not spinning or working. So you want to spend that kind of money and then have the remaining use of this machine, or you just want to buy a new load sensing machine as times are hard and the economy's bad and they're driving up costs on everything and they're selling you cheap junk back. I don't know. That's up to you. If you're on my channel, you obviously want to learn how to fix this stuff yourself. So I think a child could fix this machine if they apply themselves. That's just how I think. So maybe we can try not disassembling this whole machine and try to go from the underside here. It might be a little more difficult. We have clips here that hold this pump in place.
Are there any bolts that hold it?
Right here,
Uh-huh.
it looks like either 1/4 inch or 5/16, which is most of your common sizes on these machines.
So maybe we can actually get to it like this.
Possibly.
Like with a ratchet, maybe.
We could try.
Yeah.
We could see if we could get lucky. And if we could, maybe we could get this and move it up out of the way. And we could disconnect these motor clips down here, but we'll get to it in a second and see what we can do, okay?
Yeah.
Alright, sorry about the flickering of light. That's what happens when you mix the new LEDs with a camera, a real camera. You get a flicker like that. And I work during the day, so at night I get to do my repairs, or in the evening or whenever I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is get a flathead. And look, all we need is basic tools, okay? Any type of cheap socket set, 1/4 inch drive, or anything like that, or a nut driver set. Well, you can't get a nut driver in here unless you take this cover off. We opted not to take this entire shell off because we don't want to deal with putting this back together and getting everything to fit the way that it should, because it's an older machine and it's got a rust build up and all that, and I don't want to go through all that. So what we're going to do is do it from the bottom without taking anything else off except for what we need to take off. So first thing we're going to do is remove the pump, which is where everything drains your machine. You see this motor. It's important to understand how things work because it helps you repair them better. Okay, so this motor operates the pump and the transmission at the same time. It's a double-ended shaft. It's got two ends on it. One end to spin the pump, one end to spin the transmission. Okay, so, and here's your big old motor in the middle. And that's basically how this works. I mean, this is all your Whirlpools and Maytags and all your fancy machines. This is what the Maytag man used to come out and fix before China put him out of a job.
Can I make a joke?
Go, I don't care.
And your Teslas.
And your Teslas? Well, they all got recalled. 100% of them. That's the word directly from the dealership. So this is a clip that's just clipped on here. So we want to remove it, and we're going to pry it to remove it, like that.
That's one clip.
And we'll put that down there, and we got a clip in the back, I'm sure. Yeah, right here. That might be a little difficult to get to. Your camera might not be able to see that as well.
You able to get to it still?
Not as good, but I can get to it. It would be easier if the shell were off the machine. A lot easier, but like I said, there's a lot more to put back together too. So I'm going to pry this. If I had a... Yeah, there we go. I find it easier if you put the screwdriver right here and pry. Now I got that by hand. I'm going to let that hang. I'm going to see if I can remove this pump. Okay, look. The shaft, see the shaft?
Yeah. There we go.
It's just a slotted shaft that fits in one direction inside of the pump. Pretty easy. Now we'll pick the pump up and we'll move it out of the way as best we can. And let's look inside this pump and see if the plastic is still good right here that spins it. If this pump were to go bad, then you would have water leaking out of it, draining out onto the floor.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the shaft looks the socket looks pretty.
Now, look, I'm gonna shove it up here, out of the way. See that?
Yeah, that's
It's out of the way, right? Okay. Now, I'm not making cuts to this video that much, so you're getting the full detail of the video. Other folks make it look a lot faster and a lot easier because they do cuts to their videos.
1/4 inch.
You're going to stay with me pretty much the entire time, minus the intro, when we got tools ready. So, 1/4 inch nut That means 1/4 inch.
For some socket sets, that would mean 6 millimeter.
6 millimeter and 1/4 inch are not the same.
One fits a little bit looser than the other.
Yeah, well, just stay with 1/4 inch to be safe. So you have another, that's one clip. Now you have another clip that's down here, and it's kind of hidden behind here. It's if you take this and you twist it out, put this aside.
That's your pump clips.
Right. Those clips hold your pump on. You can get in here and you can get to the other 1/4 inch, and you're just gonna have to feel for that one and go counterclockwise and take it out.
Like working under a car. Sometimes you got to feel the bolts by feeling.
All right. So. All right.
Bolt number 2.
All right. We should talk about politics while we do this, huh? You think that would turn a lot of people off to these videos?
Yes.
Well, maybe that would be a good thing. Because
Now, a better conversation would be how politics gets into your life, whether you like it or not.
look, now I had to let's stay focused here. I had to remove this clip. Okay, so this is one wiring harness clip that I removed. And there's another one here.
It looks like it unclips from the bottom side.
Right. Now, I don't technically have to remove those clips. I can leave these wires attached.
Yeah.
But I removed that one just in case. Let me see what color the wire is. Just in case it impairs me from being able to remove this motor. Now, I removed these two bolts, these two machine or sheet metal screws. And I think now we have 2 more clips we can pry off, right? That's one. That was on there pretty good. And then we have another, same in the back. Okay, there you go. A smaller screwdriver wouldn't hurt to do this job either. Big or small, medium size. I would recommend a medium size flathead, the most common household flathead. Now, we took those 2 out, we got those off. Those are the motor clips. Now, is anything else holding our motor on? Let's find out. Nope, it isn't. It's sitting on rubber grommets. And look what we got.
Yep, snapped off fingers in the coupler.
Oh, they snapped off?
They are. They're snapped off inside the slots.
Okay, let's give people, look at this coupling over here. Look, over here. Okay, that's one side of the coupler. Then there's the other side of the coupler. And then there's a buffer. That piece of rubber right there is a buffer. I guess that's so you don't feel the jolt of the motor while the machine is operating. Okay? So that's so you don't feel the machine doesn't jump when the motor spins. And this is called a dampener. It's basically what it is, right? A rubber dampener. And you can see it's broken here. And that's why the black stuff is on the floor when you remove this machine and you replace it with a subpar piece of crap equipment. And
So you shred the rubber a little bit.
well, that's what happens when the coupler breaks.
I mean, look,
Okay?
there's the black right there.
Right, and it's all over the place. So let's pause that for 1 second. All right, so we were so confident that it was a motor coupler that we actually bought one, and this was bought sight unseen. So yeah, this is a pretty common part.
These usually have a metal shaft on the inside, right? These new aftermarket parts. I think they made them stronger now.
We bought one that has a metal sleeve. Factory ones, some of them don't. This is the motor coupler part, one of the part numbers. Okay, this might be an aftermarket part number, but it's a motor coupler. Okay, it's got fittings with a tri-shape that fit in these grooves. So you probably have 6 grooves here, and you have 3 on each one, and it's self-explanatory. One side fits in one way, one side fits in the other, and it combines the motor and transmission.
The drive shaft.
Yeah, it's a U-joint. It's pretty simple, okay? This is how it is. But it's hold this, sir. Thank you. All right. I wish we were doing this. We'll start making videos during the day if we can. It's just that it gets dark so early, and by the time we get off of work, you know, we don't hardly have time to make any videos. Now look, see, here's the old one. It's all ripped up, it's shredded, and here's the new one. I mean, it's pretty basic. So when you see that black on the floor underneath the machine, you kind of got an idea of what's wrong. Now if you see an oil on the floor or a water on the floor, you got an idea that the water's coming from either the tub or from the pump. Or if you see an oil on the floor, you got an idea that something's wrong with the transmission possibly. Okay? That's just a quick reference. That's not a guarantee. Alright, here's your motor coupler. Let's see if either side is any different. No, it isn't. They both have a half divot here and a divot here and a divot and then, you know, semicircle. So they're both oval basically. Have two flat spots, one on each side, and they generically look the same, so I don't think side matters. And then you have what it goes into. So here's a rubber and here's a rubber. All right, look at that.
That's the assembly.
And that's what breaks, right? So yeah, that's definitely a dampener to keep the machine from jumping or feeling too rough on the user, because this motor has a lot of torque behind it when AC voltage is applied. So that would be the purpose for this. So let's get to replacing it and stop talking here. Okay. All right. So we pry the old junk off.
Yeah, that one was snapped.
Well, yeah, sure it was. It gets old and brittle, right? And you think people throw these machines out for this reason, or call a guy like me to come and replace them. Even though I tell them what the problem is, they don't want it anymore. One day we're not going to have that luxury if the economy stays on the track that it's on. You know, I mean, maybe some of your rich actors will. You know, they don't even care. They don't even do their own clothes. But for the average person, we can't, honestly, we shouldn't be able to, you know, on this track, we can't afford to take these chances of spending all this money because we want to keep up with the Joneses. Let me see if the other side fits the same way. Okay. I'm just checking to see if this thing can be pressed on a little bit more than it is. Or if by hand does it. And I think by hand does it. I think there's no special press on that you have to do. I think just putting it on by hand is enough. So next thing we want to do is align this coupler with the shaft of the motor. And the shaft of the motor seems to be, if we set it right, at the top. The slot is at the top and the bottom. And we will set this to the top and the bottom. And that puts us in the ballpark of where it needs to slide into place, right? So you still have these clips on here, and remember that. And this one's on here. And we didn't even really have to unplug anything. And all we do, try to realign this, and each machine might be a little different, but it's the same principle as far as taking this getting to this. Some may be on the side or turned this way, mounting bracket wise. This motor just happens to be facing the front of the machine, and the pump's facing the front. I think Whirlpool may be toward the side, and other machines may be different, but you still should be able to get to the pump this way, and the motor and the coupler. So we have basically okay, this turned on me. That was a problem.
So realigning
light
the
here.
motor with the coupler.
Right. This clip wants to turn sideways, and that would want to throw my motor to the side. Alright. Something is getting in my way. That is getting in my way too. You know, I should pause the video and then put it on and be like, look, it's done, right? Look, there's no struggling going on here.
Yeah, but the point is, this probably happens on...
I'm a super pro. I mean, look how fast this was done.
Everybody who ever makes a video about anything always encounters something that holds them up a little bit.
Well, I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, look. Yeah, those are a pain in the ass, these clips. Okay. My pump.
You're almost there. It needs to turn a little bit. Did you get it just now?
Well, you see it spinning the motor, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I'm in place. My problem was that it was bearing down on me in the back. The pump. Okay. Now.
Snap those clips back on.
Well, that's the part that takes a little force. Okay, that's one. You gotta have a pretty strong hand to do that. But if you know, don't press right here. Press right here. So that you're bending the clip out like that so it snaps on.
Got it.
Got me?
Alright.
Alright. So our coupler's in place, right?
Right. Couplers in place, snapped back ends, snap holes.
Right. Shine a light here? Okay. So, whether or not these are supposed to push up on a groove and fit snug and tight, the way that I just put it on is going to force it to have to do that its first go round, right? Whether it turns for a minute or cycles one way or another, it's going to work. It's going to push itself up on the groove, okay?
Right. To
right.
engage.
If it has to spread those two pieces of plastic out ever just so slightly, you understand, to fit on the shaft more snug,
Right.
It will do that on its own, okay? So it'll have a little pressure on it at first. You do have this rubber grommet here holding it in place. Let's make sure our plugs that we didn't have to unplug before are plugged in. That out the way. And I could cut the video right here and leave y'all hanging and say...
Installation is a reversible removal.
Right, I could use Haynes' excuse that they always give you in their automotive manuals. Okay, so clips, remember?
Wait, what about the screws, huh?
Well, we could leave those out and just say that we put them in. They don't actually go right there. What the heck was that? Let's see.
Stalagmites.
Really? So this is where our screws went?
Yeah, actually.
In here?
Yes.
Really?
Against the clip.
No, through the clip.
Yeah. Well, through it, sorry. Yeah.
Is that where it went?
Yes.
All right. See, I wasn't paying attention. I just wanted to see if you were. Alright, this is so your motor obviously doesn't vibrate itself off its clip. Knock the clip off. And remember, if you're fooling with a ratchet like this, don't get too stupid with tightening it too tight, because you're only fooling with a machine screw. I'm sorry, a sheet metal screw. Why they use this, I don't know. They should have used something with machine threads and not big coarse wood screw threads or sheet metal threads.
Die threaded into the frame of the motor.
Yeah, they should have used something more realistic like that, because I would have done that, because that design, obviously it worked, so I mean, I guess I can't complain. Alright, so next up, find your slots, right? So you got a slot here, and you got a slot over here for your clips here. This clip was in the back. I'm gonna put it the way that it was. Okay, that's in place. See that?
You put it in there and then
I'm gonna take my pump down. I'm going to, and what? My pump was facing, lines were facing up like this?
Yes, and then going towards the outlet side over there.
Okay. Now I have to line this up. I'm going to spin this coupler that I just replaced to align this shaft. Look, shining here, you can see how it has to align. Okay. There. And you got those four teats that go in there like that. Now let's make sure before we clip the other side down that I can get this on. Okay, I can. So we're okay.
So you can get it on after the fact.
Right. Point. Okay. So now I need to snap this clip on. There we go. And here we go. And future generations of children are saved now because people have knowledge. And what do activists say? Knowledge is power. Alright. So, just like that, without pulling the machine all apart, without cutting the video, all the pieces, right in front of you, I struggled, we got it together. We know that we might have to move the body of this machine up a little bit because the belly might want to sag on you, right?
Right.
We probably could have removed this facing down or facing up. We could have flipped the machine the other way. Or I could have did it all the way around and done it over on this side. All of that matters.
So we did this in about 15 minutes.
I don't know. How long is the video?
Well, right now our current clip is almost 15 minutes.
Okay, so without the camera in the way, we could have done this faster.
Definitely.
All right. So 15-minute part change out. Let's put this Elite back on its face.
Let's try to get this thing in action.
Okay. We're going to need some type of... You can see it's been sitting for 6 months underneath my carport, right? Because here's the drain hose that came with it. Look, just like normal, the agitator teeth, the 3 teeth, are worn out on it. So we'll replace that next.
We have that in our shed, yeah.
Yeah, in our parts supply, we'll just replace the agitator teeth so it ratchets and
properly agitates to close up and down.
So it ratchet locks. And then next thing we'll do is we'll push it over here and we'll plug it in and see what's up.
Yep.
Let's go in, off, out is off? I forgot.
Pull to start, push to stop. Okay, we're stopped right now.
Thanks, buddy. Alright, we plug in. Now what we want to do is see we want to see this spin. Because that was a problem. This didn't spin at all. So that's all we want to see, right?
Ultra clean.
Alright, it's trying to let water in.
Rinse, spin.
It spun.
It spin.
Is it on low spin, high spin, what? They got all these adjustments.
It is on
This machine
fast spin.
was sparkly clean when I pulled it out of the house, so I shouldn't have let it sit here 6 months like this.
I said no, it's on this. Yep. And it just braked too.
Yep. You mean the brake grabbed it to
Yeah.
stop it? Yeah. Yeah, it's in the transmission.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
That's that. I mean, we can do a separate video on the agitation, unless y'all want to go into the agitation of this. I don't know how to advertise that on Facebook. I mean, on what the hell am I saying?
On YouTube.
Twitter and YouTube and all that. I don't know how to. I guess we'll do a separate one on the agitation teeth, but I think people know how to replace those, huh?
They
Let me
should
just show
generally
them.
know.
Shit on it. I mean, it should be under here, right?
Yep.
Okay. So here's where your teeth are supposed to be, right in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not here, but in underneath this cover right here. How does this cover come out? That bolt right there. You see that bolt?
That bolt right there in the center?
Yeah, I think that's a 1/2 inch. So you'd stick a 1/2 inch down in there, you'd remove that, this piece would come up, and then you would have teeth that sit in here that agitate against here, and then there are ratchet teeth right here after you clean all this shit off that can agitate. See? They spring out one way and then... You understand?
Got it, yeah.
Okay. Then they lock the other. And so that's a quick reference to how this actually works. And then this is what
Fabric
happens
softener.
when you're overloaded with fabric softener. At least it smells good. It smells like axle grease. Alright. A change quickly from the norm. We'll just stick it on the automotive channel and another channel. How's that?
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright. And what? Would that
That's
be
it.
about the conclusion?
Yeah, that's the conclusion. Thank y'all for watching. Please subscribe. You never know what's next.